Okay, so in last class, we discussed some concepts in CSS. Let me try to going with multiple other concepts also in CSS now. I'm trying to opening the VS Code, and in VS Code, we will try to go with the Python folder, which is already there. Let me open the CSS folder and open the nodes here. And there are multiple things we discussed last class: font properties and text properties, right? So now today we will work with selectors. See, we already know about tag selector, and we already know about the class selector, and we already know about the ID selector. So tag selector is selecting with the tag name. ID class selector is selecting with the class name. Selecting with the class name using with dot class name. And ID selector is selecting with ID name and using with hash ID name. So these are the selectors we done so far. And if I am giving tag selector, class selector, ID selector, class selector, sorry. If I am giving tag selector, class selector, ID selector will go first. ID is the first preference. Okay, so that preferences we already done. And one more time, I want to go with the selector preferences. Selector preferences with these three. Selector preferences with these three. Okay, one is the tag, one is the class, one is the ID. So we already know about the CSS preferences. CSS preferences. What about CSS preferences? CSS preferences, if we have the inline, internal, and external. If we have the inline, internal, external, which will go first to the browser? Inline will go first to the browser. If we have internal, external, last one, external will go to the browser. External will go browser. External will go to browser. And if we have external and internal will go. Last line will go to the browser. Internal will go to browser. So we know about these preferences. We already done the class about these preferences. For example, if I am giving the color in inline, internal, external, the last external color will go to the browser. Sorry. Inline will go to the browser. If inline is there, inline will go. In the second two lines, 191, 192, second two lines, there is no concept of inline. There is no concept of inline. We have the internal, external. If you have internal, external will go. Last line will go to the browser. If I'm giving the color property, for example, in internal, I'm giving color red. In external, I'm giving color blue. Which color will go to the browser? For example, here I'm giving red color. No. No. The last line only. I will show one more time if you want. So here red, here I am giving blue. Which will go to the browser? Browser will be blue. And for example, here in external I am giving red, and in internal I am giving blue. Internal I am giving blue. So finally, which will go to the browser? Yeah, same thing, right? Suppose, for example, here I am giving blue, here I am giving red. Which will go to the browser? Red will go to the browser. The last line is internal. Internal will go to the browser. So one more time, I want to refresh this CSS preferences. Then I'll go to the selector preferences. Selector preference is different. Comparing to the CSS preferences, selector preference is different. Now, first go with the CSS preferences. Then I'll go to the selector preferences. Now, work with the CSS preferences one more time. I want to remind CSS preferences preference dot HTML. Now, I will be having one simple element. I will be having one simple element called web development. Now, I'm trying to giving three styles. Three styles means I'm giving the inline style and I'm giving the internal style. Sorry, internal style and external style. Internal style and external style here. And inline will be here. Style is equal to, I want to give the color red. Now I don't have any internal, I don't have any external. I don't have any internal, I don't have any external. So only inline is available. Only inline is available. If only inline is available, okay, inline will come. Red will come. If only inline is available, inline will go. Okay, for example, internal also there. Internal also there. So for H1, I am giving color blue. Now inline is there, internal is there. Internal also there. Which will go to the browser? Inline only. Why? Because of if inline is there, inline will go. There is no option. It will not recognize any internal or it will not recognize any external. If inline is there, inline is the first preference to the browser. Okay, coming to the point. Okay, if inline is not there, then the story is different. External also I will write. I will take a file.css. File.css. Inside the file.css, I want to give one thing already there. Okay, let me go style.css. Style.css. Inside the style.css, h1 color orange. Now this time I want to access the style.css. How to access style.css? Link relevant style sheet and href. That should be style.css. Now internal accessing at the same time, external accessing, even inline also there. If inline is there, definitely inline will go. Okay, so these CSS preferences notes also I will write here. Then you can understand how the things are going to be happening. But just follow these notes here. If inline is there, definitely inline will go. There is no option. Okay, there is no option. Only inline will go. Why? Because of even you have the internal, you have the external. Only inline will go. Okay, now if inline is not there, I'm just removing the inline. Now what I'm doing is I'm removing the inline. I'm just removing the inline. Just remove the inline. I don't have inline now. We have only internal, external. Internal I'm writing first. After that I'm writing external. In internal I have the blue color. In external I have the orange color. Okay, which will come to the browser. Just imagine. Orange color will come. Only I am working with color property. Color only overriding here. Color only overriding here. So what is the last color here? Last color is this one. External will go. Blue is overriding with orange. So output will be orange. For example, I just want to swap these two. Swap means I am keeping external first, then I am keeping internal second. From external orange is coming, from internal blue is coming, which will come to the browser. Last line is first preference. Blue will go. Blue will go. I am talking about the color property. If you have the separate properties in the different style sheets, okay, everything will work. But if I am talking with the same property called color only overrides. Okay, for example, from internal only color is overriding. Inside the external, I have the one more property called text align. I have the one more property called text align center. It will come or not? Definitely it will come. Why? Because of see here, this is working. This is working, and from this color is working. Alignment is working. Orange is there, but orange is overriding with the blue. If you have the single property, that single property will override from the last. But if you have the multiple properties in the multiple areas, don't worry, all the properties will come. Remember, this is the very, very important in the case of preferences in CSS. Okay, I don't have any inline CSS. I don't have any inline CSS here. If inline is not there, just read the second two lines. If inline is not there, inline, internal, external, inline will go. Internal, external, external will go. External, internal, internal will go. This is the case basically. So this is already we remembered. This is already in our mind. This is already in our mind. Okay. Let me give the here also. I'm just giving style color. Just to give the red. Now red is only color is red and alignment is set. That we know that. Why? Because inline color is inline. Inline is the first preference. But now come to the point. This one selector preferences. This is different. This is different comparing to the CSS preferences. So when you come to the selector preferences, complete story will change. Complete story will change. Okay. Now you see. You see internal is working first or not. If I don't have inline, let me copy and take new program. Save it as selector preferences. This time selector preferences dot HTML. This concept is completely different and try to understand it. I don't have inline, sir. Okay, don't worry. If inline is not there, don't worry about these things. In real time only, people will use external only. That is not a big deal here. And we have only external, only internal. I don't have inline. But now, tell me which will go to the browser. Now tell me which will go to the browser. Internal will go to the browser. That's fine. That's fine. But in internal, this is what kind of selector? This is what kind of selector? Tag selector. This is what kind of selector? Tag selector. Tag selector. Okay. Now, I will be having for this H1 class and ID. Class is called Apple. ID called Orange. Okay, my class name is Apple and my ID name is Orange. Now tell me, I want to work with the class selector for the same element. Dot Apple. Okay, I will give some color. What is the color you want to go? Or I'm just giving red. Okay, this is class selector. This is class selector. Okay, fine. Okay, fine. This is class selector. Now we try to write down ID selector also. Hash. What is the ID name? Orange. Orange. Color is going to be purple. Purple is there. Yes, purple is there. Blue, red, purple. Blue, red, purple. Which will go to the browser? See, I'm working with internal. So internal is the first preference. We know that. Anyway, external will not come. External, what is external? Orange. Orange will not come. Don't worry about it. We are working with internal. Anyway, color, first color preference is internal only. First color preference, internal only. But in internal, I am writing color here, blue, and overriding with red, overriding with purple. So output will be purple. Output will be purple. Now, I want to swap it. Cut it, put here in the top. This is the ID. Where is the okay color purple? This one is purple. Fine. I want to write a ID selector. This is ID. Okay. What my requirement is, I want to swap. Swap means take ID, cut it, put top. Now imagine which color will come to the browser. Which color will come to the browser? First orange, purple is working. On top of the purple, blue color. On top of the blue color, red color. So we know CSS is line by line execution. Okay, finally output will be what? Save it. Save the program and go to the browser and refresh it. Purple only coming. Purple only coming. Why red is not coming? Preference, high preference. ID is a high preference. Okay, wherever it is, the previous line or below line or middle line, wherever it is, ID is available, ID will go first. If you have some property for ID, ID will go first. If you have some property for ID, ID will go first. Okay, for example, I don't have ID selector. I don't have ID selector. I have only class and tag. I have only class and tag. Now preference, which is the first preference. I am comparing with the tag and class. So inside the tag, blue color, inside the class, red color. What is the first preference to the browser is? Class. What is the class? Even it is in the previous line. Even it is in the previous line, we don't care about it. Even it is in the previous line, we don't care about it. But we are working with the same. We are working with the same tag. This is blue. This is green. This is red. I am working with the same tag selector. We are working with the same tag selector. Tag selector, 3 lines. Tag selector, 3 lines. Blue, green, red. Blue, green, red. Red will go. Red will go. Okay, now I am swapping this. Red I am keeping top. I am swapping this. Red is going top. And middle blue. Last green. Which will come? I don't have any class selector. I don't have any ID selector. We don't bother about them. I have only tag. But in the tag, we have 3. In the tag only, we have 3. Okay, let me swap again. Let me swap again. Red, green, blue. Blue is the last line. Blue is the last line. So blue is the last line, then blue will come. Getting my point? I am working with only tag selector. If you have multiple tag selectors with the different colors, last line is first execution. Last line is first execution. Once class will come into the picture. Okay, so here this is okay blue. Let me keep it. I don't want these two. If I have class selector, then if I have class selector is what? But class selector in the previous line. Class selector in the previous line. So class selector is there. We'll go to the class selector. Even it is coming from the external. External is basically in the previous line. External is coming in the previous line. Where external is available? Previous line. But in external, ID is available. In external, ID is available. Remember it, sir. In external, ID is available. In external, ID purple. In external, ID purple. But external is in the previous line, not the down line. But in external, we have the ID. In external, we have the ID, purple. Then finally, purple color will come. Finally, purple color will come. So this is kind of, so we have to override with CSS preferences using with the selector preferences. So diagrammatically I will show, then you can understand how the selector preferences will be. Now we have two cases. Now we have inline, internal, external, and here inline, external, internal. I am talking about this one is CSS preferences. Now tell me CSS preferences. The first preference is what? Why this is not fixed here? Maybe I need to save this. Huh? Okay, if inline is there, inline will go. If inline is not there, external will go. Here, if inline is not there, I'm talking about. Okay, so if inline is not there, this one. If inline is not there, line by line checks. Last line, first execution, first output in browser. Last line, first output in the browser. This is basically CSS preferences. Now coming to the point, selector preferences. Selector preferences. In selector preferences, complete story will be changed. So what is the first priority? What is the second priority? What is the third priority? But if you don't have selectors, but if inline is there, if inline is there, selectors will not work. If inline is there, selectors will not work. If inline is not there, then ID is first. After ID, if ID is not there, class is first. If class is not there, tag selector. If I have same property in multiple lines or multiple tag selector, but value is different, then last line is first execution. This is a very important. The last point is very important. What is the last point? If I have same property with the multiple tags or multiple tag selection, multiple tag selector, but the value is different, but selector value is different. Already we executed this program. Red, blue, green. Green will go. Blue, green, red. Red will go. Red, blue, green. Green will go. If you have the single selection. But if class is there, class will go. If ID is there, ID will go. Getting my point? This is about the selector preferences. You try to understand selector preferences like this. This is called CSS preferences. This is called selector preferences. We have mostly we will write in the real time selector preferences only. But in CSS, mostly people will write class selectors. In CSS, mostly people will write a class selectors. In JavaScript, mostly people will write ID selectors. Remember. So anyway, in your web development, your HTML, you have to manipulate on HTML. You have to manipulate with CSS, you have to manipulate with the script. If you are manipulating with the CSS, work with the classes. You are manipulating through the JavaScript, work with the IDs. We know how to access ID, we know how to access class, we know how to access element in JavaScript also. But now we are talking about the CSS. In the part of CSS, there are multiple operations. A lot of panchayatis are there. Which panchayat is going to be executing in the case of inline, internal, external. If inline is there, inline will go. If inline is not there, internal, external is will go. If inline is not there, external, internal will go. But in the case of external or internal, if ID is there, ID will go. If class is there, class will go. If tag is there, tag will go. If ID is not there, class and tag is there, then class will go. Getting my point? ఒకవేళ ఐడి దొరికిందా ఐడి వెళ్తుంది ఐడి లేదు అసలు ఎక్కడ ఐడి లేదు అసలు ఐడి క్లాస్ ట్యాగ్ ఇవన్నీ కన్నా ముందు ఇన్లైన్ ఉంటే ఇఫ్ ఇన్లైన్ is available inline will go if inline is not there then it will check about the selectors if inline is not there then it will check with the selectors even it is in the internal or external అప్పుడు సెలెక్టర్స్ లో వెళ్తుంది ఇన్లైన్ లేనప్పుడే సెలెక్టర్స్ వైపు చూస్తుంది when it is actually looking for the selectors again it is checking for both things again it is checking for the internal or external it is checking for the things like if ID here and there ID is there just go for ID if ID is not there just go for the class even class also not there check with the tag getting my point so don't confuse about the CSS here and preferences here this is very very important nobody will tell in the YouTube in YouTube also there is no video about the preferences for CSS or selectors only they will write properties that's it you try to understand in depth how CSS is working, how the selectors are working, how the things are working, how the internal, external, inline is working, and how the selectors are working. Mostly people will write a class selector in CSS. But in the learning part, we are trying to learning all the kind of selectors. Okay, so we already done with the 3 selectors and now we done with the selector preferences also. Now I'm just moving to multiple other kind of selectors also. Let me go with the multiple other kind of selectors. We already done these 2, right? These 3, right? Now we go for another selector. Kinda raddama. Now we go for group selector. Selecting group of elements at same time. Selecting group of elements at same time. Okay, how? For example, I want to give the same style for H1s, H2s and paragraphs at the same time. Okay, you can write comma separate. You can go with the comma separate. For example, color red. Color red. I want to apply the same color for paragraph for H1 for H2. Then go for the comma separated. Now let me go about the group selector. I hope you understand. The video number of times you watch the video and you try to understand it, you try to do practice with. Okay, and let me go with the group selector now. I hope you got understand now. How many type of preferences we done? First we done with the CSS preferences, then we done with the selector preferences. In CSS preferences, inline, internal, external, which will go inline. Internal, external is there. External, internal is there. Internal. In internal, external, ID is there. Okay. Is okay. This kind of concept is okay. But in internal, external, in top of this internal, I have ID. In external, we have the class. ID will go. No. ID will go. ID will go. Wherever it is available. Wherever ID is available, ID will go. Wherever class is available, class will. If those class and ID is not there, then only it will check for the tag. ఇది ఒక్కసారి కొద్ది కాంప్లికేట్ అనిపిస్తుంది బట్ ట్రై టు అండర్స్టాండ్. చిన్న కన్ఫ్యూజింగ్ టాపిక్. Preferences a little bit confusing topic. First time you are watching, first time you are listening. Only by practice you can understand this. Just swap, make it swap down JC, pine JC, swap J. Then only you can understand this. Then let me go with the group selector now. Save it. Group underscore group selector dot text. Let me go. Take multiple elements. One paragraph is there. One H1 is there. Hello. One H2 is there. Web development. List item is there. Order list, unorder list, whatever you want, you can take it. I'm taking order list now. In order list, I'm taking your list objects. Apple. One more list item. Banana. One more list item. Orange. How many list items are? Okay, fine. We don't care. Now let me go to the style. I want to apply the same color. I want to apply same color for all the elements. All the elements means directly you can give like this. See, every element is available in the body now. Body color. Body color. So if I say body color, it automatically the complete body will take. Okay, I don't want to go for the body. I want to go for only H1, H2. H1, H2. Text align center. Only H1 and H2 text align center. Now you see. Only H1 and H2 alignment center. Only paragraph and order list. P, OL. Color blue. Color blue. Now H1 and H2. For H1, I want to apply H1. If you want H1, just write separately. H1 background color I want to apply as black. And I want to override the color with white. Background is something and the color is white. Alignment center is working from group selector. And background color and color working from element selector. Right. Font style, I want to apply the font style. For all the elements, I want to apply the font style. Body. For all the elements, I want to apply the font style. Font style, italic. For all the elements, it is applicable. Body italic. If I say body italic, every element in the italic mode. Every element in the italic mode. So this is basically called group selector. Group selector is, see like this. Group selector is comma separate. So how many group selectors I'm writing? This is group selector or not? This is group selector or not? And one more time I'm working with the group selector. So here also I'm working with the group selector. So 2 times I'm writing group selector. Am I right? 2 times I'm writing group selector in this particular CSS part. Now group selector is working for the 2 times. Am I clear? This one. Next, we go with even selector, odd selector. This is about the group. Now, even, odd. Even for even elements, odd for odd number elements. Even for even number elements, odd for odd number elements. What are the even number elements? Even 0, 2, 4, 6, 8 kind of things. What are the odd numbers? What are the odd numbers? 1, 3, 5, 7. Like this. Okay, that's it. Let's take a program, even order. Even odd selectors. Dot. H1 is better or H4. I have n number of H4s here. In my body, I have n number of H4s, but only the requirement is H4 colon nth child of even. I want to apply color or background color orange. H4 nth child of odd. I want to give the background color as green, orange and green. And for all the H4s, text align, center, font style, italic. So all the H4s I'm applying unique style, something like alignment center and style is italic. But only even number elements, I want to go for the orange color, a background color. Only odd number elements, I want to go with the background color as green color. Now you see the output. Very simple, straightforward. Very simple, straightforward. So odd number elements and even number, there is no concept of zero here. See, elements are counting from 1, 2, 3, 4, something like that. First element is 1. Second element, this is not saving as array. In the case of CSS, not recognizing as array. In the case of JavaScript, it is recognizing as 0. Why? Because of in JavaScript case, document is treating like array. Document similar elements are treating as array. But in the case of CSS, that concept is not working. CSS understands only from 1. CSS is not recognizing as array. There is no word called array. CSS knows. CSS ki arrays తెలియదండి. JavaScript తెలుసు. JavaScript recognized by array level object. Every object is recognizing through array. Try to understand the difference between the CSS and JavaScript. In JavaScript, first element is 0. Why? Because of all similar elements are storing by array. Now, green one is little bit different. Green, where is the green one? This one. Let me override the color. Color is white. Why? Because of that black color is not visible on top of the green. That is the why reason I'll just change it. Is it clear? So something is green, something is orange. What is green? What is orange? So this is called even number selector, odd number selector. So the same even number, odd number selectors, I will write in the one more way. Copy here and comment it. One more way I can do. For example, this is the odd one. Odd one is 2n plus 1. And even number, for example, even is 2n. Even is 2n. Odd is 2n plus 1. Both will work. Both style you can do work. Now even numbers are in orange color. Sorry, odd numbers are in orange color. Even numbers are in green. 2, 4, 6, 8. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9. 1, 3, 5, 7, 9 is working with the green color. No. 1, 3, 1 is orange. 2 is green. Yeah, 1 is orange. Odd number. 1 is orange. 2n plus 1 means 1. Orange. 2 multiples. See, when you go with the 2 multiple is even number. Non-2 multiple means odd number. Non-2 multiple means 2n plus 1. simple mathematical form. So you can work like this also. For example, there is a concept called nth child select. Nth child select. My requirement is I want to select a particular number element. Okay, only fifth element I want to select. Only fifth element. Then you can directly go. And child underscore selector dot. Now tell me, nth child, I don't have all these things. Nth child, only nth child I want to go. I don't have even, I don't have all. H4, then colon, nth child of, for example, I want to select only fifth element. Background color, orange. Nth child 5. When I say nth child 5, only fifth element is getting selected. Okay, if I have, if I want to go with only 3 multiples, if I want to go with only 3 multiples, 3 multiples means, is it fine? 369. 369 is 3 multiples. Okay, nth child also working. Huh? This one I switch off. Now only 3 multiples. 3, 6. Only 3 multiples are working. 3 multiples with one color I want to apply. So you can go like this. So this is called nth child selector. Clear on this? And there is a concept called universal selector. See, you will be having a lot of selectors. You can practice with the W3 schools and you can practice with MDN also. Universal selector. Universal selector is something like a star selection. Everything means includes body element also. Body HTML element also. Body HTML element also. Every element inside the body, every element on top of the body, HTML tag also there, that also gets selected. That is basically universal selector, star selection. Now let me write a universal selector. Universal selector dot HTML. Now universal means I have what element you want. Can I go with button? I'm taking multiple buttons. I'm taking H1 also or H2. I'm taking a paragraph. There are multiple elements. We don't care about the elements. I just want to write down the style sheet as universal selector. Let me go with the style sheet. Start. Let me give the border. I will tell the border property later. Border 1 pixel, solid style and red color. I want. Red is disabled one. For each and every element means all buttons and H2 and paragraph and body and HTML also. On body and HTML also, every element is going to be getting selected. You don't see the body here and you don't see the HTML here. Why? Because of I'm not taking a template here. But if you take template structure is something like that. In the first day itself in HTML class, I given some template. Okay. So for example, you take like this, okay, save it as uni, the template. dot HTML. Okay, so when you go like this, some exclamation mark. This is a template. So when you open a Visual Studio Code, just type like exclamatory mark, shift exclamatory mark in the one button, shift one is exclamatory mark. When you click on enter, then this is a structure for the HTML, common HTML. But I keep the total thing. I keep the total thing inside the body. We don't care about it. Now you can see when I go with the template, even I'm not in the template, you can see I'm not in the template. Even body also selecting or not. Body is there, but invisible. Body is there at the same time. HTML also there. Where is the body here? Where is the body here? This is the body. And where is the HTML here? This is the HTML. And inside the body only, we will be having the buttons. Inside the body only, we will be having the H1. Inside the body only, we will be having the paragraph. But this level is body level. And this level is HTML level. Those elements also getting selected with the star symbol. With the star selection, this is working fine. Okay, so this is clear. Now I go with the template. Where is the template now available? Now where is the template available? This one template. So execute this one. Output is same or not? Output is same or not? This is the universal selector. Just try to understand it. Next, we go for 2 more selectors. Adjacent one sibling. Adjacent all sibling. Siblings means side by sides. Adjacent one sibling selector. Adjacent one sibling means something like suppose for example P plus or H1 plus P. After the H1 any P is finding, that will select. After the H1 all paragraphs I want to select, then we'll go for the tilde symbol. Where is the tilde symbol available? I don't know. Where is the tilde? Yeah, it will be fine. Adjacent one sibling, adjacent all sibling. So let me go with the adjacent one sibling first. Adjacent one sibling first. So it is adjacent one sibling dot HTML. Okay. First H1 I am taking web development. Then after that I am taking multiple H2s. H2 CSS, JS, React. What my requirement is adjacent one sibling. Adjacent one sibling. One sibling means after the H1, one H2 I want to select it. One H2 only I want to select it. The background color something like that. Background color green. H2 only H2 gets selected now. Only H2 gets selected. So background color green, text align center, and color white. Should feel good. Only the adjacent one sibling means only one sibling is getting selected. One sibling means one element after the H1. One element after the H1. But I want to select all the elements means adjacent all sibling. Save it as adjacent all sibling dot. Adjacent all sibling means only the plus symbol you change to tilde symbol. You change to tilde symbol. So when I say tilde symbol, Adjacent, all sibling. All sibling means all siblings are sir. So you may imagine, suppose for example, after the H2 some paragraph is there, sir. After the H1, H2, one paragraph is there, sir. After this H2 also one paragraph is there, sir. I'm not actually specifying the paragraph here in the CSS. I'm not specifying the paragraphs in CSS. In CSS, I'm specifying what? In CSS, I'm specifying what? Only H2s. Only H2s after the H1. You may have paragraphs, you may have list items, we don't care about it. We may have forms, we may have tables, we don't care about it. But only H2s after the H1 is going to be getting selecting with. Paragraphs, we don't care about. Paragraphs, we don't care about. Am I clear? Okay, after the H1, for example, H1 should be look feel good. ఎందుకు నాకు సరిగా చుట్టానికి బాగాలేకపోతే I could not able to couch. చుట్టానికి బాగుండాలి కదా ఏదైనా ఉండాలా వద్దా ఫాస్ట్ లుక్ ఫీల్ గుడ్. Can I go cursive or fantasy? The complete body in the font style italic and font family is fantasy. Fantasy and variety. Gill Sans. The complete total H1 and H2s and paragraphs. Now paragraphs. Where is paragraphs? And this color will be, let me take orange. And orange with the white confused. Orange with the white confused out in beta. Or blue. Blue is good for orange. Then after that, H1 tilt here. Background color this time is green. And green में the color white is okay. See, as web developers, you need to understand which color is better in the background, which color is better on top for the UX purpose. For UX purpose, which is good look and feel. Which is good look and feel, you have to understand. There are multiple things, Andy. There are multiple things. Very not understand. అవును H1 కి మనం ఏం చేంజ్ చేయట్లేదు. H1 కి డైరెక్ట్ గా సింబల్ ఒకటే పెట్టేస్తాం, బ్యాక్గ్రౌండ్ కలర్ వైట్ అండ్ సెంటర్. బట్ ఐఎమ్ టాకింగ్ అబౌట్ దిస్ వన్, H1 tilt H2, H1 tilt E. Now H1 is treating like parent or root level. So for example, I am H1. There are number of Rajesh people are there. What I'm telling is, after Srinivas, all the Rajesh select. After the Srinivas, all Vaibhavi select. If I say all the Rajesh means all the H2s. If I say all Vaibhavis means all P's. After Srinivas only I'm taking. So first of all, you need to mention the Srinivas name. Srinivas name is H1 here. After H1, all the boys are getting selected with. After the H1, all the girls are selecting with. That is the way. After the Srinivas, only this person need to get selected. Means that time you have to give the number plus some number you have to specify. Or nth child selector you can do. Okay, so that way you can do practice with these things. Let me show. There are multiple selectors in MDN. You can CSS selectors. You do practice with selectors. I will give you some references. You can go W3 schools. And ikkada konni vedichadu. Okay, combined selector ani pseudo selectors ani inka konni selectors manam cheppali. We will come into the coming class. And దీని నుంచి W3 schools నుంచి ప్రాక్టీస్ చేయండి. At the same time, CSS selectors from MDN. MDN is good for this Mozilla developer ORC. And here there are multiple selectors. How many selectors are there? Can you see? ఇవన్నీ క్లాస్ రూమ్ లో చెప్పాలి అంటే it will take a long time, weeks. But concept you understand. For example, I want to go with the first child selector. I want to go with the nth child even, nth child, only child. These are the number of selectors. Practice all the selectors. There are multiple attribute selectors and class selectors. Class selectors are there. Class name, dot. Okay, so you can do practice with the selectors. This concept you check with. Okay, I'm just giving this link here. Easy practice చేయాలి మీరు. Practice with all the selectors. It will take time to practice all the selectors. Each and every selector some source code is there in MDM. You can do practice with that and understand it and execute it. Okay, we have some more selectors like pseudo selectors that will be in the coming class. And one more important topic in the coming class is box model. Box model is very, very important. In the box model, we will be having the padding, margins, and borders, outlines, all these things. So once we're done with the box model, you can able to do a simple web page. You can able to create a simple web page, a kind of gallery application. The coming Saturday is very important for you for assignment. You want to develop a simple web page on Saturday with HTML and CSS combination. I want a good interface. Why? Because of CSS will complete before Saturday with this positions and box model, all these things. And you have to apply all the CSS and HTML. You have to design a simple web page on Saturday. So that is an important thing. So don't leave the practice for HTML and CSS. HTML, CSS practice is important. Okay, you are learning JavaScript. You have a lot of work in the JavaScript, a lot of practices in the JavaScript. I don't care about it. But you have to keep your time on CSS and HTML also. You will be having a lot of issues and a lot of questions when you are doing practicing. Yeah. So, but JavaScript practice is important. JavaScript is topic by topic. This topic, this kind of execution. Okay. Next topic, this kind of execution. Okay. On the same topic, we will be having a lot of assignments, a lot of use cases you have to work with. When we come to the JavaScript, ippude manam ekkam pattala ekkam antena. So but when we are going forward, there are a lot of things will come into the picture and a lot of assignments, a lot of use cases you have to implement. At the same time, you have to implement a lot of use cases in the part of CSS and HTML also. And more practice. Enta practice chesthe interview anta easy untundi. How much practice you done by yourself, that much easy your interview is. There you can able to easily answer. And in interview, for example, they ask you create this kind of web page, create this kind of output. They will give a simple form to you. Create this form using with HTML and CSS. The same form I want to see. And the color you have to give, the fonts you have to give, the alignments you have to give. Then automatically you have to remember all the concepts in CSS and you have to implement it. That's interview. When you are attending some interview for HTML and CSS, you do one thing. So by this weekend, you prepare a dummy resume for HTML and CSS with a different number and try to attempt the calls. Try to attempt with some kind of executions or questions. Try to see what the questions they are asking for. The mockups, you can practice like mockups or real mockups. It is a real mockup. You're not joining, but you check with. You are trying to reaching for them or not. Somewhere you are getting struck, or somewhere I get passed. At least you have to pass like 50 to 80%. The real interview also, at least you have to pass with the 60% or 50%. You don't give the answers for each and every question. You are giving the answer for each and every question means they definitely imagine like your proxy person. Don't give answers for 100%. You know the answer, but only skip it. Sometimes you have to skip it. Otherwise, ఏమవుతుందంటే వాళ్ళ ఈగో హర్ట్ అవుతుంది. అమ్మ నేను అడిగిన క్వశ్చన్ మొత్తం ఆన్సర్ చేస్తున్నారు, నేను అడిగిన క్వశ్చన్ మొత్తం ఆన్సర్ చేస్తుంది అమ్మ అంటే నాకన్నా ఎక్కువ వచ్చారు వీళ్ళకి. ఇంటర్వ్యూయర్ ఆల్సో ఫీల్ లైక్ ఈగో హర్ట్ అవుతుంది. ఈవెన్ యు ఆర్ వర్కింగ్, యు ఆర్ ఎంటరింగ్ ఫర్ రియాక్ట్ ఇంటర్వ్యూ, ఓన్లీ హాఫ్ ఆఫ్ ద క్వశ్చన్స్ ఆన్సర్ చేసిన వాళ్ళు సెలెక్ట్ చేస్తారు, కంప్లీట్ ఆన్సర్ చెప్పిన వాళ్ళు సెలెక్ట్ చేయరు. ఎందుకు సెలెక్ట్ చేయరు అంటే వాళ్ళు ఈగో హర్ట్ అయిపోయింది ఆల్రెడీ. నువ్వు వచ్చి అక్కడ వాళ్ళకి ఏడా ఇబ్బంది పెడతావు, వీళ్ళకి తెలిసిందే కాస్త వీళ్ళు ఏడా చాట్ జీపీటీలోనో లేకపోతే సమ్వేర్ దే టేకెన్ ద క్వశ్చన్స్ అండ్ దే ఆర్ ఆస్కింగ్ యూ అండ్ యు ఆర్ టెల్లింగ్ ఎవ్రీథింగ్ అంటే he is getting a master in the company again. ఓ మాస్టర్ వస్తున్నాడు నాకన్నా గెట్టవాడు ఫీల్ అవుతాడు. సో అక్కడ ఈగో హర్ట్ అవుతుంది. యూ హ్యావ్ టు గివ్ ద 70 to 80% ఆన్సర్స్ ఇన్ ద రియల్ టైమ్, బట్ యూ చెక్ విత్ ద ఇంటర్వ్యూస్. Okay, any questions on this now?